Hey, you all. Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. More specifically, we're here in front of the Renwick Gallery, which is part of the Smithsonian Art Museum. There's so many different Smithsonian museums. This is part of that complex, the Renwick Gallery. And this is one of the main reasons that I wanted to come to Washington, D.C. Right now, because they are having an exhibit on state fairs. And who better than me to visit the state fairs exhibit here at the Smithsonian. For those of you who follow my channel, I've had a multi-year goal to visit all the state fairs, and I have nearly accomplished that goal. Later this summer, my hopes are to go to the Wyoming State Fair, and at that point I will have visited a fair for every state that has a fair. The only caveat, Hawaii canceled their state fair last year. No plans to put it on this year. So right now, Hawaii basically doesn't have a state fair. It used to, but now it doesn't. I can't visit it if it doesn't happen. But with the visiting of Wyoming, I will have pretty much completed my goal. I will have completed my goal of visiting every state fair across the country. And so I'm super excited to see state fair art at the Smithsonian. I know a lot of times you visit the different state fairs, you see the art competitions, the different competitions, the unique culture of the state fair. The fairs have such unique culture that you will not find anywhere else. So let's head inside the state fairs exhibit. It says Growing American Craft. Please follow me and just look at this. Outside we have these giant cowboy boots. And these aren't just any giant cowboy boots. These are the boots of Big Tex, the giant, towering cowboy at the grounds of the Texas State Fair. One of the best state fairs. The Texas, I think it's the longest state fair. It lasts for like a whole month. Texas and Minnesota have the two biggest state fairs. It actually talks here about the time that he actually caught on fire, unfortunately. But yeah, Big Texas boots here at the Smithsonian. But without further ado, let's head into the Renwick Gallery. This is part of the Smithsonian, so there is no admission. There it is, State Fairs, Growing American Craft. And look at this. Howdy, folks. That's a sign from the Texas State Fair. Yeah, it says this Howdy, folks sign used in parades at the Texas State Fair. It's actually created by Kern Studios, who runs Mardi Gras World in New Orleans and creates all sorts of parade floats. This is a display made by the International Harvester Company to be displayed at state fairs. It shows the McCormick Daisy Reaper. You know, a lot of the state fairs, you know, as farmers that go to the state fairs, there's a lot of farm equipment for sale, a lot of tractors for sale. So farmers would go to state fairs to look at new stuff like this. This woven piece here shows off the Navajo Nation Fair, which I have actually not been to. It'd be interesting to attend that, visit some of the other state, other non-state fairs, other fairs that aren't technically the state fair. Look at that! Look, almost like Monument Valley there in the background, and then some of the rides. This piece is called Smorgasbord, which is a reference to Charlotte's Web, where the rat goes to eat at the state fair. Calls it a veritable smorgasbord of all the different food you can find laying on the ground. And if you look at this necklace here, it's actually pieces of fair trash. There's cigarette butts, wrappers, lighters, discarded food, chicken bones, all the things that you'd find on the ground at the state fair. There's tickets, pills. This artist here is actually from Spruce Pine, North Carolina. You'll love to see it. This piece of art, the corn dog vase, was displayed at the Indiana State Fair in 2023. I actually think, I have to go back and check, but I actually think that's the year that I went. So I need to go back through my video and see if I showed this at the Indiana State Fair. It, believe it or not, did not win. It's got an honorable mention. And then this is a a hot dog, a ceramic hot dog made by an artist in Tucson, Arizona. And this quilt here, of course, quilt's a big part of the fair. This quilt was made by a South Carolina artist who actually teaches quilting at the South Carolina State Fair. This is an artist, K.D. Miller, who won Best in Show at the 2019 Kentucky State Fair with this piece. It talks about her grandparents and things that they loved. It says all the grandchildren here, and a green onion, because her grandfather ate a green onion every day. And you can see this wall of ribbons. These are all ribbons from the Iowa State Fair, which is another like top tier level state fair. And this is an older one. This is from the 1882 New Hampshire State Fair, won first prize in a sewing competition for girls under 10. Got a lot of quilts in here. A lot of times you go to the state fair, you'll find entire buildings full of quilts. This jar here won a red ribbon in the 1960 Arizona State Fair, so it didn't even win the blue ribbon. But you know what? It's in the Smithsonian, so I think in the end, it won out. And these are sugar and cream containers that won 16 prizes at the 1915 Kansas State Fair. This is a hair wreath that won first prize, the 1885 California State Fair. And yes, that's all human hair there. It says that the creator collected hair from deceased relatives to make this wreath. And you can see the hair, different colors and consistencies there from different people. It's a 1967 work for the Kentucky State Fair. And I guess this is like a different type of quilting. I like how that's very interesting, how they've like sewn the shirt, the overalls, and then the jean jacket there into the quilt. You even have the glasses there. And this is pretty amazing. This is a dress made out of butter containers and all different brands of butter. This is from the Minnesota State Fair, where they crown a dairy princess. And the title of the princess that wore this particular dress in 1965 was Princess K of the Milky Way. This is called the Tree of Life. It's all the different farm animals there sewn into the tapestry. And this won second prize at the 1963 Arizona State Fair. It's interesting how many second places there are here in the Smithsonian. Now this quilt here, not from a state fair. This is actually from a World's Fair, the Century of Progress, aka the second Chicago World's Fair that occurred in 1933. That's so cool. It's a Century of Progress there. Shows the different types of transportation, from horse and buggy to train to automobile to airplane. The woman that created this, Carol St. Clair Johnson, won a award at the on a blue ribbon at the 1981 New Mexico State Fair. And 41 years later, she created this quilt that is made entirely out of fair ribbons. You look here, every single bit of this is made out of ribbons from the New Mexico State Fair. And not only is it all ribbons, it is all ribbons won by this the same lady. So this is like her magnum opus here, where she took all the ribbons she'd ever won and turned it into a quilt. Miniature boats here from a fair in Maine. It's an amazing piece of artwork. Won the Juror's Choice Award at the Ohio State Fair in 2018. You can see the broom there being rotated there at the top, keeping that one spot there very, very clean. And this bejeweled moth. Yeah, these are like embroidered butterflies and moths. They're not actually real. It's from the 2023 Iowa State Fair. Little miniature tableau. Yeah, I love miniatures so much. This is the 2023 Maryland State Fair, depicting the Washington Monument on this sweater. Like these skeleton gloves here from the Minnesota State Fair. This quilt was displayed at the 1995 Kentucky State Fair by the BOSH, which is the Battered Offenders Self-Help Group. It was all made by incarcerated women who are in prison in Kentucky. You can see the jail bars there over the crying eye and heart. They all contributed to this quilt. It says, "I was not even safe in custody." You can see abuse happening behind bars there. Different incarcerated women telling, their stories from in and out of prison. And you see the creators have their names and sentences here, all the way from Connie, who's serving 5 years. So she should be out by now. In fact, if everything went according to plan, everyone, Montilla, Karen, Robin, Connie, Charlotte, Sue, and Francis, should all be out of prison by now, except Sherry, unfortunately, who is serving a life sentence. And this is an interesting room here. See the fish hanging from the ceiling, and the birds here on the ground. These are all decoys. These decoy birds were used in presentations at the Florida State Fair. And then the fish up here, also decoys, fish decoys, used at the North Dakota State Fair. Let's head upstairs, see what is up here. And this room in here is a Las Vegas artist made these giant pieces of corn surround the room. Interesting. Yeah, so this is called the Maze Chapel, and it has, you can see it has different lighting effects here. It's literally, a chapel, a church, a celebratory venue to celebrate corn, which if you drive across America, we grow a lot of corn. Corn's very important to America, to the state fairs. Corn's even, it's in about everything we eat. Has a little bit of corn in it. Now, this is a really interesting piece here. Now, this is a tractor. The artist is a Margarita Cabrera, and this kind of shows the contributions that immigrant workers make to farms. Vast majority of farms in America have immigrant laborers working at them. So they've kind of combined this all-American design here, the all-American tractor, but have made it out of Mexican ceramics and added the Mexican ceramics in there. I really like it. I really like it, and I, definitely feel like a lot of people come from Mexico, from other countries, in seeking out the American dream, and working hard, helping build this nation, help growing our food, and really a part of the fabric. And it makes me really sad how people intentionally want to try to exclude them from the American dream. So I really like this piece. Now these are pieces by a artist named Sid Carpenter, and kind of what they are focusing on here is African American experience. It says that in some states, such as South Carolina, if you went to the state fair, they would actually have separate categories for white and black farmers and or artists. How sad is that? And the artist traveled around, visited different folk artists, and kind of was inspired by their style, and presents the three sculptures here. This middle one is inspired by Pearl Fryer, who was a topiary artist. Cut bushes into designs. And this is actually the address of his house on this one. And this room talks about the Native American fairs. How the different tribes have created their own festivals and fairs for their different tribes. You see, this is the Choctaw Princess, 1985-1986. Look at this beautiful Miss Navajo crown. You can see the turquoise there. That's really beautiful. And I didn't think I would ever see a butter cow in the Smithsonian. That is actual butter, folks. A life-size cow, a normal nature-sized cow made entirely out of butter. The artist is Sarah Pratt, who does the butter cow for the Iowa State Fair, the Kansas State Fair, and the Illinois State Fair. I did not realize it was the same person that did the butter cows for those three state fairs. This is always a treat. No matter what state fair you're at, seeing the butter sculptures, it's such a part of state fair culture and what you think of when you think of a state fair. That's amazing. Butter cow at the Smithsonian. Take a look at the 360-degree cooler here. See the door to the cooler. It's 41 degrees in there, keeping that butter cow nice and solid, not melty. You'd hate to have a big butter melt here at the Smithsonian. Nope, there's the back of the butter cow. You can see, look at the detail there on the tail, like the individual carved butter hairs. You can see the butter nipples and the veins on the milk sack there. Is milk sack the right word? I feel like there's a better word than milk sack. Oh, I love this so much. This is amazing. These are this is a display of canned vegetables, preserves. This is all by one canner, Rod Zietler, who I guess is the champion canner at the Iowa State Fair. But yeah, you will see these displays much like this, usually a little smaller, but much like this at the different state fairs. Yeah, look how these are all actual canned items. The asparagus, the corn, peas, maybe sauerkraut there. Oh, some mixed vegetables. Yeah, I love just the beautiful pyramid of canned goods. And the other side here, these peppers look delicious. In addition to this just being a cool display, these do look like high quality canned items, and it says that that the man that did these, that makes these cans, typically wins the blue ribbon in every category at the Iowa State Fair. So a champion canner. In the rodeo room, with big decks overlooking. And of course, rodeos, big part of the state fair. And look at this fantastic outfit here. This is made by a Shea Bishop from Richmond, Virginia. And this is called Rhinestone Rattlesnake Boy. Look at that, you can see the rattlesnakes there on the chest. There's rattlesnakes all over the hat there. Some bejeweled glasses. Pretty amazing. Here's some prize-winning horseshoes from Wisconsin from 1920. Look how tiny some of these are. Like, what tiny little horse could possibly wear a horseshoe that tiny? Some saddles. Oh, look at this. It's a step right up. This is like a carnival game you would play, but it says vote here for the, okay, so vote best in show. So yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, so these are 6 different pieces of art displayed in this exhibit, the Smithsonian, and they are all amazing. I liked all these. Oh my gosh. So we vote for which one we like the best. You know what? I'm really torn. I'm really torn between these 3. The fair garbage necklace, the rattlesnake boy, and that tractor there. Which one do I go? You know what? I think the tractor. I think the garbage one, probably the most creative. The rattlesnake, the most visually stunning. And I think the tractor is the most moving and meaningful. So I'm gonna go with the tractor. Thank you for your vote. You can vote again in 20 seconds? Well, I don't want to spam it, but actually, yeah, I'm gonna give all 3 of those a vote. So let's see. Which one? It's actually in first place. The last place is Rattlesnake Boy. I think Rattlesnake Boy needs my Rhinestone Rattlesnake Boy needs my help. It's in dead last place, and it's so fabulous. And this is the Blue Ribbon Gallery in here. It talks about crop art, where actually using the seeds to make portraits. There's like all little seeds and wheat there. Betty White's hair. Yep. Prince. This is Dolly Parton. Andy Warhol. Taylor Swift. And Johnny Carson there. And this is a piece of crop art of the agricultural building at the Minnesota State Fair. I've been in that building. This was a wedding that occurred at the State Fair, the State Fair wedding. Maybe need to talk to Jen about getting a State Fair wedding. Remember, this was made to commemorate the wedding that took place in 2021. Some presidents here. You got Nixon, Lincoln, Barack Obama, and George Washington. Also have FDR and his wife Eleanor. And look at this. This is actually the poster that they're using to promote this exhibit. And here's the original, which is crop art. It's all made out of seeds. This is the State Fair's Growing American Craft. And I believe it is time to exit through the gift shop. There is of course, some State Fair butter merchandise. Your butter socks, and you get your own plushy butter cow. I think it says Iowa State Fair on it. I actually have this already. I bought it at the Iowa State Fair. Well, that's like the coolest marlin ever. It's made out of plastic toys, and it has little baby arms instead of fins. So that was amazing. Oh, so great seeing State Fair art at the Smithsonian. Finally getting the recognition that it deserves. And just brought back a lot of good memories of visiting all the different state fairs. Very excited about visiting the Wyoming State Fair and completing my mission, but also a little sad. Like, I talked about this the other day. I get these goals. I'm going to visit all the Ripley's. I'm going to visit all the wax museums, and then I get bummed when I actually accomplish my goal, and I'm already feeling that with the state fairs. I'm like, I only got one that I got to do. Usually I'm like laying out how many different state fairs I'm going to do in a year, and I've only got one to hit. So, man, I don't know. I probably won't stop going to fairs. There's lots of other fairs, that I haven't visited. Maybe not necessarily the official state fair, but sometimes there's spin-off fairs. Like I've been to the Oklahoma State Fair, but I've not been to the Tulsa State Fair. So there's some of these alternative state fairs that maybe I will put my sights on next. Also, they're supposed to have a national fair this year for the 250th anniversary of America over there on the National Mall. I can't find a whole lot of details. I've got the dates down, but I'm definitely going to try to be here at least one day for the National Fair. Supposedly it'll be out on the lawn in the National Mall. I don't know if we're going to see the zipper and the tilt-a-whirl out there, but well, there will be something happening here in Washington, D.C. At the end of June. And right across from the Renwick Gallery here is this. This is the Eisenhower Executive Building. This is part of the White House. A lot of executive offices are in there. Not the president's office, but pretty much everyone else who works in the White House's office in there. Like J.D. Vance's office would be in that building. The vice president, and this is the closest you can get to any part of the White House right here. Is looking at this. Yesterday I walked this full circle. This street's blocked off. You can't go there. You can see all this Secret Service agents, but you have to go walk around back that way and go around and walk around the other side. I did this big loop around the White House and could not look at this. The Secret Service dog was getting belly rubs over there, but did a huge loop. Wore myself out carrying my luggage for some reason. Just got a very just got a little glimpse of the actual White House because of all the construction and security. So I'm probably not going to get a good look at the White House on this visit. I'm hoping once the construction is done, they will be able to get some better view. And maybe I hope someday that they can peel back the security a little bit. Keep everyone safe, of course, but allow people to come up a little closer and see the White House like they used to be able to. There is a White House Visitor Center. So I was going to walk over there and see what's there. It looks like they maybe have some exhibits on the White House. So we can't see the real White House. We can at least visit the Visitor Center. Looks like there's a few more protesters out here today than there was yesterday. Walking along the perimeter of the White House here, notice that they have a gift shop here. White House Gifts. Need directions to the White House? Step inside. Yes, walk down about a mile down the street and look through your binoculars. We got some Washington, D.C. souvenirs. Some of the different monuments on that shirt. Okay, I like this. I've seen these in gift shops at different places around the country where they sell the different states, little happy states. This is the first time I've seen the entire U.S. as a although it's missing Alaska and Hawaii. This is the contiguous U.S. there. I would buy this, but I have no room in my luggage for anything. I don't know if I could buy any souvenirs on this trip. Oh, look at that. There's the poor little Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia there. And he's smiling, but he should be angry. He's like, why do I have to pay taxes when I don't have any representation in Congress? I literally have more people inside me in some of these states. Look at like Wyoming. Come on, I have more than Wyoming. They get 2 senators. I don't even have half a senator. This is BS. The mini blocks, the Abraham Lincoln, the Lincoln Monument, the panda. The pandas are back in DC. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to go out there and see a panda, but the pandas are back in DC. It's the Capitol building, the forgotten Jefferson Monument. Oh, and there's the actual White House. There you go. You'll finally get an up-close look at the White House. This is cool here. Again, I don't know if I could buy any souvenirs, but it's got all the monuments in one. You got the White House, Capitol, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Washington. Oh, it's pointing. It poked me. Got all the bobbleheads here. Biden needs a little help bobbling.
For them, basically, to get hit by cars.
Maybe I need to get one of these scooters. Now, this area over here is the World War I memorial. This is one of those memorials you don't hear as much about. You know, World War I got to a point where I think everyone that fought in World War I is now deceased. So something, you know, we kind of forget about stuff as time passes. So it's like a fountain here. You actually walk out onto the fountain. That's interesting. A very, very shallow fountain there. Just like a dusting of water. You see the statues up here. Different people involved in World War I. Different soldiers and their families. Yeah, we shouldn't forget. Shouldn't forget about World War I. World War II, I think, weighs a lot heavily in our minds in the modern days, but this was brutal. Look at the nurse holding the guy there, his gas mask off. I don't want to be this guy, but I'm going to be this guy for a moment. It says WW1 Memorial Visit or Guide smartphone app. And of course, I don't know. I'm kind of a fan of just putting the information here instead of telling you to scan a QR code. I mean, if I wanted to do research on something like this at home, I would. But you know, coming out, I prefer just talk about it. Just tell us what this is. But now you got to use your app. But that's not really what I'm complaining about here. It says visit or guide. But you see, the app itself is called Visitor Guide. So you have this massive spelling error. Now, I make spelling errors all the time. I mess up my titles. People laugh at me. I'm guilty as charged. But, this is important. Like, this should be fixed. This shouldn't have made it all the way out here in front of the World War I monument. Just my opinion. You can remove that space there. It's a minor error in spelling, but that's not really acceptable. Like, people come from all over the world to Washington D.C. to see these monuments, and that just, I don't know, it just shows a lack of care, I think. But I'll stop there. I don't want to go and turn it into a rant. It's just my thoughts. Also, I guess the app, you can make tanks appear in the fountain. I don't know about using apps. I'm an old man now. I don't know if you should use an app. Just appreciate. Be in the moment. Be here. As I say, as I'm looking through a camera lens. Then we have Blackjack John Pershing, General of the Armies. A 3D layout of the monument. There's the fountain there. It's got in Braille, so people who are seeing impaired can actually appreciate, get an idea what the monument looks like. There's some sculpture details. This is one of the faces on the sculpture, so you get kind of an idea through touch what it would look like. And in this encircled area, there are some educational plaques that do talk about World War I. Okay, so straight ahead, you can see those big cranes. Those are what's demolishing the east wing of the White House. I don't think you can see the White House from this angle, but it's right where those cranes are. And here is the White House Visitor Center. This quiet little area over here, the White House Visitor Center. I'm not entirely sure this is open. Let's see. Is this open? Yeah, it's open. Okay, had to go through like airport style security. And here is a replica of the White House. Now, this is so that Lafayette Park that's closed, that would be right here where you can see the front. That's where the protester, way back here, like was where the protesters were this morning. So this is the West Wing here. You can see that right there is the Oval Office, shaped like an oval. And over here, this is the part that is being demolished. It's pretty much gone at this point. The East Wing. So I think that's like they had like press conferences in there, and honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I think it was actually the First Lady had an office over here. We do have some artifacts in here. Here is a piece of the fence. I guess this is the from 1918 as a picture of these decorative pieces of the fence. And you can see right here. So we were all the way over here this morning. That's where the protesters were. That's where we were yesterday. We tried to peek through the fence. So this park is supposed to be open, but that's closed down right now. So normally you could get pretty close to this part of the White House. Now, the first time I visited D.C., you could drive this road here. This is 1996, so this road's still open. That's closed now. It's been closed since the early 2000s. And you used to be able to go up to, I think, the fence, at least this fence right here. You can. It's pushed back like all the way back here, so you really can't even get a good view of the White House from that way. There's that's the Renwick Gallery we went to this morning where the State Fair exhibit was. There's the Eisenhower Executive Building. And then this would be what's been recently demolished. So this is interesting. This is, these are ornaments from the White House Christmas tree. This is from 2010. And here is the presidential switch box. And it says that this box is still used. They have it engraved every time a president flips it. So you can see, here's Joe and Jill Biden. Donald Trump used it in 2025. Donald Trump used it 4 years for that. Barack Obama 8 times. George W. Bush 8 times. William Jefferson Clinton 8 times. And it says this box, made in 1937, is still used to light the tree. It says the switch was replaced. So the switch was changed in 2011 by Barack Obama. But it says they still use this. So they must come here, get it out of the museum, and hook it up so that the president can flip that switch and light that tree. So Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Joe Biden have all flipped that switch there. And here's a replica that we can switch ourselves. So there was a great docent over here kind of walking us through different parts of the White House. And I think earlier I said that there was a press room. I think I said the press room was over here that would have been demolished. That's not true. It's actually over in the West Wing. The hallway to the West Wing here is the press room. And apparently there's a swimming pool under here that was covered up. So they actually have a floor over the swimming pool. The swimming pool is full of computer equipment used for the networks to broadcast. But there is an abandoned swimming pool in the White House. So this is the East Wing that's gone. This was essentially the First Lady's building. They said this was built in 1940. It wasn't used as the First Lady's building until the Carter administration in the 70s. So this was originally built as a bomb shelter for the president and people working in the White House. Apparently, this is going to be replaced with a ballroom, but they're also going to put a, I guess, it'll be several stories, so they're actually still going to have everything here. And this was built in 1940, so it's actually newer than the rest of it. So I guess if you were wanting to renovate or get rid of part of the White House, I mean, it's the newest part, so it's not as historic as the rest of it. I still kind of lean towards leaving things how they are, but the White House has had a lot of changes, certainly over the decades. This is actually like a really cool museum in here. It's not very busy. It's kind of tucked away, but there's just a lot of really cool stuff in here. There's presidential artifacts, a bowling ball from the Harry Truman's bowling alley that he installed. This is a club for working out used by Calvin Coolidge. There's Ulysses S. Grant's ring. Now, this table here is laid out with different food that different presidents like to eat. Squirrel soup, rice pudding, salted almonds. I guess you gotta guess which president. Salted almonds, I'm gonna say Barack Obama. Wasn't that like a meme that he ate? What did he eat? 8 almonds every night? Like he counted them out? No, Taft. Taft was more than 300 pounds. He said he liked eating all sorts of food. He liked cold tongue and ham. Especially enjoyed salted almonds. So this is what he ate between meals, was his salted almonds. Well, at least they're healthy. Cottage cheese. Who was the cottage cheese lover? Patricia Nixon loved cottage cheese. You learn something new every day. Patricia Nixon loved cottage cheese. Now, the jelly beans can only be one man. That's Ronald Reagan. 100,000,000% Ronald Reagan. Yes, Ronald Reagan ate the jelly beans. Who liked fried chicken? Harry Truman. Harry Truman liked fried chicken. And who ate squirrel soup? I'm thinking it's an old-timey president. Let's go with Lincoln. No, James A. Garfield was a big squirrel soup fiend. This is a slice of an elm tree that is from the White House lawn. This tree was actually planted by John Quincy Adams, and then they said it got sick, and Barbara Bush had it cut down. And then also this swing here used to hang in the White House grounds. You can see the picture there, just going for a swing in the White House yard. It's a place setting. So this place setting was used when Queen Elizabeth came and visited for the American Bicentennial, 1976. Wow, I didn't know the Queen of England came to visit our bicentennial. That must have been an awkward conversation. Yay, 200 years of not having to deal with your crap. And that's Franklin Delano Roosevelt's desk. Wow. This is the original topper for the White House flagpole. This was installed in 1898, and they said this was damaged in 1993, and they took it down. Look at this. This piece fell off the south side of the White House in 1981. You can actually touch a chunk of the White. That's pretty heavy. It's like a piece of concrete. And as we exit through the gift shop, look at this. We got the official press petty for the White House. You also get George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and the seal of the president. Like the seal, like the, it's like a symbol. It'd be funny if the president actually owned a seal, like the aquatic mammal, and he lived in the White House with the president, and he would be called the presidential seal. I think that would be a great movie, actually, a great kids movie. Call it the presidential seal. The president has to run the country while dealing with a wacky seal splashing around inside the White House. And some White House press pennies for the collection. These vases full of jelly beans. I wonder how many jelly beans Ronald Reagan really ate. Did he just consist entirely of jelly beans? He lived to an old age, so I'm guessing he probably had some real food every now and then. And these are all Christmas ornaments for, these are for the America 250 presidential limo. There's the gold-encrusted White House. These like singing presidents. Is that singing Lincoln? You have a White House baseball, a presidential baseball, and then the White House stress toy. In case, anything that happens in the White House, maybe something happens in the White House that makes you a little frustrated. Maybe someone in there you don't agree with, or someone in there says something that makes you a little angry. You squeeze, and you just think, oh man, I wish they would do differently. I wish they would behave in a different manner. All right, gonna try another type of public transit here in DC. This is the Metro bus, so it's the same organization runs the buses and the subway. So we're gonna see if we can hop a bus here. And here comes our bus. Eric. Okay, seems like a fine bus ride. Not a lot of people on here. I think there's 3 people total, and paying was really easy. They just had a spot for you to tap your card or your phone when you got on. Didn't catch how much it was, but we are on our way.
Shirt right up in here.
And this is the Lincoln Theater, not the bad Lincoln Theater, not the one where Lincoln got shot at, but a theater named after President Lincoln. And just look at this giant, hyper-realistic wax head in the window. That is terrifying. You can see inside of his pores. His head is so big. He's the size of a scary, giant ogre. And it's pretty terrifying. And just amazing at the same time. The detail there. I love this. I mean, look at that. Look how big his head is. If he would be like 13 feet tall. Was a real person. Well, he looked pretty somber. I don't know if Lincoln likes being associated with any type of theater at this point. But the reason I came out to this neighborhood was to eat at Ben's Chili Bowl. I asked if there was anywhere I should make a point of eating in DC, and several people in the comments suggested Ben's Chili Bowl. So this was the place to eat in Washington, D.C. See the mural on the side. Got Barack Obama, Prince, Muhammad Ali. I think that's Harriet Tubman. It says this is a Washington landmark since 1958, but they are doing building repairs. Fortunately, they have a temporary location across the street. And here we go, across the street at the temporary Ben's Chili Bowl. Let's get some lunch. And here is my lunch. So I went with the half smoke. And the half smoke is it's a type of hot dog you can only find in the DC area. It has kind of a unique flavor to it. You see it's covered in chili, onions, and mustard there. And then I got a bowl of chili to go with my chili dog. It's got onions, cheese, and sour cream. Okay, so I'm gonna pick up this chili dog. It's a little messy, as chili dogs tend to be. It's got a wonderful flavor. It's got like a spiciness to it. Like you bite into it, you hear that pop. It definitely has like that smoky, sweet, spicy flavor to it. Really, DC hot dogs are some of the best. Let's try some of that chili. Curious what the chili tastes like on its own. Yeah, it is called Ben's Chili Bowl, so I want to see what the bowl of chili tastes like. It's got a lot of beans in it. Sour cream, onions. Very hearty bowl of chili there. Yeah, super good chili-based lunch. So that was rather delicious. Pretty much a perfect DC lunch here at Ben's Chili Bowl. I took that Uber right there over to the zoo. I was going to take the bus, but I was running low on time. The zoo closes in a little bit less than an hour, so I wanted to get over here and see the pandas. Last time I was here, I was so sad that the pandas were gone, so I wanted to make sure I got over here. And hopefully the pandas are out. Hopefully they're not sleeping in some sort of cave right now. Zoo. So this is the automobile entrance to the zoo. The pedestrian entrance for cheetahs is over this way. Okay, these giant lions denote the pedestrian entrance to the zoo. And look at that, they got the banners up there. The pandas are here at the Smithsonian National Zoo. Pandas. Well, that sucks. So the zoo closes at 3. The website, the Google says it's open till 4. I said, I just want to come in. I want to see the pandas. I won't be here for an hour. And they're like, nope, you can't come in. You gotta leave. Guys literally showed up at 3:02 and they slammed the zoo door in my face. So definitely a bummer. I think maybe it's just, I think it's unseasonably nice today. So I think a lot of people had the idea to go to the zoo. Again, I think closing at 3 o'clock, way too early. But I guess like during the winter, during January, and probably it's February, so it's actually unseasonably nice. So probably most of the time, there's not a lot of people going to the zoo. It is open every single day. So they probably have that early cutoff time because on the snowy days, the slow days, there's just not that many people coming in. But man, it was really sad being out there. Obviously, I'm disappointed, but like little kids are crying. I hate, the little kid was so excited about seeing the animals and just nope. Get on out of here. And just seeing the kids cry, and tourists who this is from other countries who's their only shot to see the pandas. Yeah, it really is a bummer. It's a bummer to see. Obviously, I feel really bad actually for the guys at the front because they have to like literally deliver terrible news to people for a solid hour and see children cry in front of them and the life dropping from people's faces. Man, but I could just feel the pandas were just over that hill there. Here's a I guess we could get some panda pancakes instead. This AI panda here. Oh, and here's a panda with stripes. But the flesh and blood pandas were hidden behind a gate. So I get it. Like but I do think it should be open later than 3. I think that's a really early cutoff. Most zoos are open later than that. I would say most do like their last entry at least by 4, I think. I could be off base. I wanted to come out today to see the pandas because there may be snow tomorrow. So I don't know, this may be our last opportunity to see the pandas. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back out here on this trip to see the pandas. I'll try, but it just depends on what, there's so many things to do here. Just trying to prioritize. Like I said, there's going to be possibly some snow here. Fingers crossed that doesn't affect my train travels. I would hate. I want my travels to be smooth. I don't want my trade to be canceled. We'll see. We'll see if we can get back out here. I'll try to figure something out. Leave a comment in the comment section if you'd like me to try to get back out here to see the pandas, or if you'd like me to do other stuff here in DC. We got 2 more days. I think we did a lot of fun stuff today, even though we didn't get to those pandas quite in time. Hold on. This is ironic. A U-Haul truck with a red panda on it there. It's not a giant panda. And technically, giant pandas aren't pandas, but red pandas are. But we didn't, we didn't get to see a giant panda. We got to see a red panda on the side of a U-Haul truck. So we didn't get to see a panda. And any day you see a panda is a good day. But we saw a lot of other wonderful things today. The State Fair Museum at the Smithsonian Art Museum. We saw the World War I monument. We saw the White House Visitor Center, which is a nice little museum that I didn't even know about, and I think probably gets overlooked by a lot of people. You got to keep an eye out for museums here in DC. They're kind of hiding everywhere. But we learned a lot today. Most importantly, we learned that the Nixons loved cottage cheese. It was an important thing we learned today. But thank you guys for coming along today on this adventure and following along on this crazy trip that's laying out before me. If you like these videos, please subscribe. If you're new here, basically what we do here, we travel around the country, film roadside attractions, amusement parks, museums, haunted houses, and other fun stuff. I've been to the 50 United States and looking to go beyond that. We do road trips by train, plane, and automobile. And if you'd like to help out the channel, there's always Patreon. $3 or more, we'll get you a postcard once a month from me to you. Also got a souvenir shop on Etsy, motel, key fobs, press pennies, enamel pins, other fun stuff. And you can get a personalized message from me on Cameo. Now, of course, all those things, they help to keep this train on the track, this boat in the water, and this dirigible in the air. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.